County. This storm has had a history of producing some damage, and you can see that the circulation is tightened up now just to the east of the city of Tuscaloosa. This is near Cottondale. This is the eastern part of Tuscaloosa. So again, we have a possible tornado at Cottondale moving towards the northeast. This is Brookwood here, this Alabama Highway 216. The town of Peterson sits here. Holt is right here. This tornado will not affect downtown Tuscaloosa, will not affect the University of Alabama. But again, we have a tornado warning in effect now for the eastern part of the Tuscaloosa Metro and the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. This does include Holt, Peterson, Fleetwood, Brookwood, and Kellerman. This is the Warrior River. This is Lake Tuscaloosa. But again, we have a possible tornado now near Cottondale at around 5 points in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa that is moving to the northeast. And again, this was just issued moments ago by the National Weather Service. This storm has produced some damage as it came through northern Hale County. And we saw evidence of what could be briefly a tornado. It went away and now it's back. And again, the Weather Service believes that we could see another one down here at this point. So again, if you are in downtown Tuscaloosa, this will not affect you. If you are in Northport, this will not affect you. This will not affect the campus of the University of Alabama. This is for the far eastern part of Tuscaloosa. Again, this would include Holt, Cottondale, Peterson, Brookwood, Kellerman. This does not include Vance or Coling, does not include the Mercedes plant. This is your polygon right here. So again, this is a tornado warning in effect for the eastern part of Tuscaloosa County. This is in effect until 7:45. All right, so a tornado warning in effect for Tuscaloosa County until 7:45. This storm did produce some damage in parts of Hale County, and we'll show you that in just a moment. I want to do a storm track on this, and again, you can see the approximate arrival times of some of the communities in the path of this. We've got Peterson basically now at 7:02. The ETA there is 7:04. Same for Fleetwood, Brookwood about 7:15. Most likely this will be passing a bit north of Brookwood. Searles and Kellerman 7:15, 7:17. North Johns over here in Jefferson County, if that thing holds together, would be at about 7:30. This is in a really large rain mass. It is a messy situation. It's all wrapped in rain. I want to go to our Tuscaloosa Skycam if we can do that. It's just pouring. And flooding is also a concern for many places that are in this line of storms. It is just torrential amounts of rain falling. That's a Skycam atop DCH Regional Medical Center. And again, we've had no damage in Tuscaloosa. Torrential rain and flooding, that's the main concern. So let's go back to the radar. And again, the possible tornadic circulation is really riding right down Highway 216 from 5 points in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa out here toward Peterson. And this is Brookwood. The circulation will likely pass a bit north of Brookwood. We're looking for signs of any debris being lofted. We're not really seeing that at this point. But again, there's pretty good evidence that there could be a tornado here. So the tornado warning, again, is for the far eastern part of the Tuscaloosa Metro and points northeast up into northeast Tuscaloosa County. And again, we stress, if you're in downtown Tuscaloosa, there is no danger. The University of Alabama, there is no danger. Northport, there is no danger. The danger here is basically from near Cottondale and 5 points, then up toward Peterson, Fleetwood, Brookwood. Searles is here, Kellerman is here. So the concern will be shifting from the eastern part of Tuscaloosa into the northeast part of Tuscaloosa County. Much of the land out here is owned by big coal companies, so the population density is not that high, but people do live here. And again, if you are in this polygon, we want you now to go to a safe place. That's a small room on the lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. No mobile homes, no cars. Nobody should be driving really along Highway 216 here for about the next 15 minutes. The path of this will get it north of Highway 216 soon. And again, Brookwood's in the polygon. Most likely, if there's a tornado here, it's going to pass north of Brookwood. But if you're in the polygon, you respect the polygon and you go to your safe place. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows, helmet. And if you know anybody in the polygon, help us and call them or send them a text message to let them know that the warning is in effect. So again, if you're just joining us, so let's go in a little tighter if we can, Taylor. And again, this is going to be in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa. So this is Highway 216 right here, coming out of Highway 11. Alberta City sits right there. That's Highway 216, and again, the possible circulation is going to be near Highway 216 out here toward Peterson and Fleetwood. That's the approximate location of this tornado moving north-northeast. Again, Taylor has got Highway 216 highlighted here. That's not the tornado path. That's Highway 216. And this will most likely be going up in this direction. This is the Warrior River right here. Lake Tuscaloosa is right here. And again, it's pretty broad right now. And this is not going to be a long-track tornado. It's going to be moving into a really large rain mass. And this probably will not be a long-duration tornado warning here, but we've seen this thing produce some damage. In fact, what I'd like to do, if we can take WEX 05 real quick, I want to show what this thing looked like. This was coming through northern Hale County, and if you look behind that tree line, you're going to see a rotation, maybe some rapid rotation, and there's a very good chance that a tornado did pass through northern Hale County in the vicinity of Moundville. We got some damage south of Moundville, just south of Moundville on Highway 69 from what probably was a small tornado. See behind the tree line right there, and you see that fairly rapid rotation. And again, this is the same storm we're warning for now in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa County. So again, that was earlier today, and it did produce some damage. We'll go back to WEX 05 really quickly. And again, this is some of the damage that was caused by what most likely would be a small tornado. You can see there's some structural damage there as well. And again, this has all happened within the hour in northern Hale County, not too far from Moundville. So back to the radar, that same parent storm is now east of the city of Tuscaloosa. This continues moving away from the city. And again, Peterson and Fleetwood, that's the approximate location of what would be a tornado here. The signature is not that good now. It looked better about 5 minutes ago when the warning was issued. It's becoming broad and diffuse. But that rotation is moving up into the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. Taylor, I've heard of no damage from Tuscaloosa County so far. Have you?
So far, not yet. And I feel like, this is a pretty populated area. We'd be getting these pictures in and things like that. I know that there was a few moments on our tower cam here that, it was looking a little crazy for a little bit. But now things have actually really quieted down at our camera site. I have not seen any reports of any damage yet. So I'm watching our different chats or different channels here. And so far, not getting any reports in of any damage, which is good. That's exactly what we want to hear, is no damage. But so far, at least for the moment, so good in terms of any damage reports from this.
Right. And again, we are watching a lot of the video that's coming in association with this storm. In fact, let's take WEX 05 if we can. This is some more video, and again, this is coming in from northern Hale County. All of this was taken about 45 minutes ago as the rotation was coming through the vicinity of Moundville. This is about 10, 12 miles south of Tuscaloosa. And again, we've had multiple folks report that apparently a small tornado did get down. We saw the rotation on radar. The Weather Service opted to hold off on a tornado warning because for a lot of the duration it was broad, but it did tighten up on a couple of volume scans. And again, that's what it looked like to the south of Moundville. So let's go back to the radar. And again, right now, we've just got very broad rotation here. This is not the really good signature. In fact, can we back this thing up, Taylor? In fact, there's a pretty decent looking hook signature, but let's back it up a little bit on the velocity and take a look at what it looked like a few minutes ago. We'll back it up, and you can see what it looked like down here in Cottondale. I'm sorry, back in time. There we go. So watch this. Here comes the circulation right here coming through South Tuscaloosa County, and then it tightens up right in through here, and the Weather Service went with a tornado warning. And again, now it's relatively broad. So this is the live view. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning for northeastern Tuscaloosa County. There is broad rotation near Peterson and Fleetwood along Alabama Highway 216, the old Birmingham Highway. And that'll be moving out here into coal country, Searles and Kellerman in the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. Again, you're going to see, and let me say this, flooding is a real concern. This line is dropping tremendous amounts of rain, and we could easily see some flooding with this. You can see just torrents, buckets of rain falling here. But again, that'll be rolling northeast, and for those of you in the polygon, you need to stay sheltered until we can give you an all clear. The Weather Service will maintain this polygon probably for a while, in that this has been a cyclic type cell within this large rain mass. We have seen the circulation tighten up for a few minutes, and then it goes away, and then it tightens up again. So again, we are watching multiple feeds here, and again, most of the damage reports I am seeing are coming out from northern Hale County and around Moundville. And again, it looked like it was a smaller tornado that came through there about 45 minutes ago. And this is the same cell that did that damage. So again, we have this tornado warning for the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. And again, this does not include Coaling or Vance. You're not involved in this. It does not include the city of Tuscaloosa or Northport. You're not involved in this. This is basically from near Peterson and Brookwood and points north, okay? Peterson, Brookwood, points north. And again, there's that area to watch right here near Brookwood. So again, folks in Brookwood need to stay sheltered. This is Alabama 216 right here. And that's going to be moving up toward Jefferson. This is Jefferson County. The city of Birmingham is back here, so we'll see if this thing holds together. Again, it's probably going to have a hard time. It's fighting little instability. It's a large rain mass. It's not an ideal environment for tornadoes. The better tornado environment now is down in the southwestern part of the state. But again, we've got a potential tornado that is located just to the west of Brookwood, moving northeast. And again, everybody in Brookwood needs to stay sheltered. Fleetwood, Peterson, we'll give you an all clear here in about 5 minutes. But you stay sheltered as well. Searles and Kellerman up here in the northeastern part of the county, you stay sheltered as well. If you can't put on a helmet, that's very important. Most people that are seriously injured in tornadoes, it's blunt force trauma to the head, skull, neck region, and a simple, cheap bicycle helmet really mitigates the chance of being seriously injured or losing your life. So that's a big part of the planning process for a tornado. When you're in that safe place, have that helmet. And this is not just for kids, this is for adults. So again, we've got kind of broad circulation, but maybe a tornado here near Brookwood moving northeast up through the eastern part of Tuscaloosa County. This is passing north of Vance, north of Coaling. And again, we'll see how this behaves over the next 15 minutes or so. Again, this is Jefferson County. This is Oak Grove right here. And again, you're looking at North Johns, Hueytown, Concord. So if you're out here in Jefferson County, just be aware that you've got this rotation coming up your way. And we'll see how the whole thing behaves as it comes through northeastern Tuscaloosa County. And again, getting more reports of trees down in the Moundville area over the past 15 minutes or so. And again, a lot of these reports are suggesting that it could have been a small tornado that came through. Let's take this image real quick on WEX 05. This is a barn over in Greene County from the same storm. And this produced some damage. You can see the roof damage to the barn structure there in Greene County earlier today. So this thing has had a history of producing some damage along the way. And again, this is some of the damage coming in from Moundville in northern Hale County. And again, all of this happened about 30 minutes ago. So the storm has had a history of producing some damage, and that will continue to be watched very carefully. The warning in effect until 7:45 for northeast Tuscaloosa County. The area of rotation pretty close to Brookwood, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. And again, we stress there is no danger to the city of Tuscaloosa, Northport, the University of Alabama. No danger at all. I know it's pouring rain. Flooding is your concern, but in terms of a tornado danger, that is up here well to the northeast now, the city of Tuscaloosa. And we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll see if that continues. You're seeing some ETA times up on your screen. These are approximate arrival times if there's a tornado there and if it stays down. And again, some of the communities were up here in Jefferson County as well. So we're going to keep an eye on things. Downtown Birmingham is right here. And again, we have this broad circulation right here. This came through parts of Greene and Hale counties. We've got Stephen Quinn, who was basically in this cell. He was in Greene County at the time. And if you watched our 6 o'clock news, it was rough. At the top of the 6 o'clock news when Stephen was on doing his live report during that particular thunderstorm with wind and rain. And it's had a history of producing some damage along the way and dropping a tornado, a small brief tornado from time to time. And that could be happening right now. So again, northeast Tuscaloosa County, stay sheltered. Now, we can give an all clear to Peterson and Fleetwood. It is now east of you and moving away from you. Now, it's pouring rain. The weather is absolutely horrible. But again, Peterson, Fleetwood, you're all clear. The danger is now from Brookwood north and east. And again, you can see the circulation center, which is located about right here. That'll be coming up on Searles and Kellerman. And again, this is a fairly sparsely populated part of Tuscaloosa County simply because much of the land is owned by large coal companies, and that's the reason they have the land. Folks don't live there, but some do. And if you are in any of these areas up here, be sure that you are sheltered and you stay sheltered until we give you an all clear. Brookwood, I would stay sheltered for about the next 5 to 10 minutes. And again, I know that this is inconvenient. It's a school night. The last thing you want to do is be sheltered up with everybody in a small closet or a hall, but it's the right thing to do. We want to go through this without any loss of life, and we've had no injuries in the state today, and quite frankly, we haven't had that much damage in the state today up until what we've seen here in Moundville, in that area, about 45 minutes ago, and we hope it stays that way. We've had no injuries, and we certainly don't want any loss of life today, and that's the reason we do what we do here. So it's 7:15. We apologize for cutting off programming this evening, but again, we have to stay on with this. This is a tornado warning for the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County for a circulation center that is about 2 miles north of Brookwood. And by Brookwood, as a point of reference, we'll just say the elementary school right there on Highway 216. The new high school is right here. The elementary school is by the K. That possible circulation is about 2 miles north of there. And again, it's moving to the northeast, and the next county over is Jefferson. This is the county in which Birmingham is located, very densely populated area here. So we'll see if that thing stays in place. The warning is it's set to expire now at 7:15. And this is probably the best video we had. Let's go back to WEXO 5. Again, this is coming from near the Tuscaloosa-Hale County line as the storm passed through there earlier this evening. And again, you can't see tornadoes here. They're rain-wrapped, and you've got all the trees and the hills. But if you look behind the tree line, you will see some rapid rotation in that video captured as the storm came through northern Hale County. And again, this was near the Tuscaloosa County line earlier, and this is the same storm that is cutting through northeastern Tuscaloosa County right now. So again, it's had a history of producing damage and a history of reports like that. So we'll have to take this thing seriously. So again, a report of a tornado west of Brookwood with power flashes at 7:05. That was about 10 minutes ago. And again, this was, let's see, there's some of the damage there. So again, a report of a tornado near Brookwood about 7:05 with power flashes. And again, that was a little bit ago. So again, there's evidence that this thing has been down maybe at times through eastern Tuscaloosa County. So in a few minutes, the Weather Service will have to make that decision. Do they keep the warning in effect for parts of Jefferson? So again, if you're out here in Oak Grove, Rock Creek, Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Pratt City, Edgewater, any of these kind of places, just kind of keep an eye on this thing, and we'll see. Hopefully that it just dissipates. There's a large, massive rain. I mean, it is just pouring. Let's go back to that Tuscaloosa camera. And Taylor, they've had a lot of rain. You've been watching that thing. Yeah, and so fortunately within the last 5 minutes or so, conditions are improving. You know, there was a time when I could not see anything from this camera, and it was shaking, and it was getting rough for a little while. But as you can tell, the roads are very wet, and you can see looks like some emergency responder lights down there, just probably watching the roads or making sure everything's okay. You can tell they're very wet. You can see all the lights reflecting off those roads. So if you don't have to be out and about tonight, of course, don't go out and about. But the good news is that at least from this camera view, this is on top of DCH Regional, we are looking at conditions that are improving. We can at least see from this camera now, which is good. But this is one of the locations that's still under a flash flood watch that's going to last through early tomorrow morning, because now we're still going to continue to get some rain with this. This was the leading edge, but you are going to get a little bit more rain. It's heavy at times as we look a little bit back towards the west. So this is the storm right now that we've got that we're concerned for the potential of a tornado. That's going to keep moving northeastward. Here's another batch of rain that's headed into downtown Tuscaloosa. Want to point out that there's no warnings associated with that, but the rain's likely going to pick up again here pretty soon. And because we're seeing multiple rounds of these heavier showers, that could lead to a flooding threat. There is a flood advisory that covers much of Tuscaloosa County, much of Pickens County, much of Fayette County, Walker County, and worth noting, we're starting to see some flash flood warnings for parts of Sumter County. This does clip extreme western Greene County as well. But for now, our main concern is, of course, this active tornado warning that we've got. For the moment, let's look here.
The overall rotation with this is fairly broad, at least from this view, but we've had different times in the history of this storm where it has produced damage, as James was just showing you some of those pictures from Moundville, from northern Hale County. We've seen some structural damage or some trees down and things like that. So at times, this storm has produced brief tornadoes. So we're really closely watching Kellerman right now. That would be the general area where we would see the highest probability for that tornado to be at this point. I've been monitoring the correlation coefficient. Right now, not showing anything. That's good. That means that the radar is not picking up on different types of objects up in the atmosphere. So that kind of gives me an idea that this likely isn't on the ground right now. But the National Weather Service is going to continue this warning until they know for certain that this is not going to drop another tornado, because apparently it has had a history of doing so. Very heavy rain right now, Kellerman, all the way down to Brookwood to Fleetwood. And you can see some of these pinks to the northwest of Kellerman. That's just torrential downpour right there. Hard to see anything as that's moving through. So this is not going to be one of those situations where you would be able to see a tornado if there was a tornado. We've had some reports of some power flashes a couple minutes ago as this was very close to Brookwood. But for the moment, you're not gonna be able to see anything. So if you're in the polygon, just make sure you are headed to that safe place or in that safe place now, staying there. Next up is going to be parts of Jefferson County if this holds together. For the time being, the overall trend is that this has kind of broadened out a bit, but we'll keep an eye on it. Just want to give people a heads up, though. If you live in the western parts of Jefferson County, this warning could be extended. We're waiting to hear from the National Weather Service whether or not they're planning to extend this warning into Jefferson County based on what they are seeing. But for the time being right now, broadened out a bit, but, you know, it could drop a tornado again as it has in its history. So we'll keep watching it.
All right, and again, we're watching a lot of the reports coming in this evening. Let's go to WEX 05, and again, these are more damage reports. You can see some damage to a mobile home, and again, this is near Moundville in Hale County. Thankfully, the mobile home was not overturned, and typically, when you see damage like that with a mobile home, it's a small, brief tornado, not one of the larger ones. They're all bad. Again, this is some more of the damage coming in from Moundville in northern Hale County. And it's basically trees and large limbs that are down. And it looks like if a tornado did indeed come through, and the Weather Service will survey this, it was most likely a smaller one. Again, this is some video coming in from Moundville about the time the storm came through. And you're not going to see a tornado. You know, these things around here were totally rain-wrapped today where they happened. And but again, that's a look at what it looked like coming through Moundville earlier. So let's go back to the radar. It's 7:22, and we are here because we have a tornado warning for the northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. And I want to expand this out, Taylor. Let's do kind of a reset. I want to show the reflectivity over the whole market. Just a large mass of rain. And again, you can see the one warning we have here. It's this. And by the way, that's a flash flood warning for Tuscaloosa County, the blue polygon for the flooding that's going on in Tuscaloosa behind that. But that one area of rotation is coming up toward Jefferson County. But this is embedded in a large rain mass. And it's pretty hard for these things to stay sustained. Typically, in a situation like this, tornadoes that get down, they're brief. You know, they don't last long. They're very hard to warn for these things. But it did apparently cause damage in parts of Greene and Hale counties. But for everybody else, just a large rain mass. And again, we have a flash flood warning in effect for much of Tuscaloosa County, especially from Tuscaloosa north. A flash flood warning for parts of Sumter County as well. Let's check that Demopolis camera real quick. I wanted to show you what it looks like in the middle of one of these downpours. It is absolutely pouring. And this is the type of rain that people have been experiencing. Don't know how much you can see. It's 7:23. There's probably a little daylight left. Let's take the sky cam if we can. And again, that's our Birmingham camera.
I think we're frozen. I might have to do a reset on here.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back to the radar. We'll check that here in a second. But again, I just wanted to show you the large picture. And the only warning involving wind, it's the tornado warning for eastern Tuscaloosa County. The circulation is quite broad. It is coming up toward western Jefferson. Again, if you're in Oak Grove, Rock Creek, any place like that, just kind of keep an eye on things. But probably the Weather Service will not extend this based on radar trends. The severe weather risk is ended back here in northwest Alabama. The air is cool and stable. Many spots are in the 50s up in here. Still 70s over East Alabama, but the instability values are low, and the chance of severe weather for Anniston, Gadsden, places like this are fairly low tonight. Could there be a severe storm? Yes, but it's not especially likely, just a very low-end threat. So that's the big picture. So let's go back into our eastern Tuscaloosa County storm. And again, when the warning was issued, the rotation was over Cottondale. This has never been a threat to the city of Tuscaloosa or the campus of the University of Alabama. A lot of folks were taking precautions, but again, the concern was from Cottondale and northeast up toward Peterson and Brookwood and places like that, Fleetwood. But again, just very broad rotation near Kellerman. This is in the far northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. That broad rotation is about to exit the county. And again, if that trend continues, if it looks like that, I do not expect the warning to be extended as the storm is just so broad at this point. Getting some pretty big rain reports. I'm seeing some reports of 4 inches of rain down in Sumter County. And again, we've got our sky watchers that are on the job today, and I would imagine their reports are pretty excessive. We'll get all of their reports here in time for the late news tonight. But we're getting a lot of reports of folks that are over 3 inches. And a flash flood warning is in effect for much of Tuscaloosa County, including the city of Tuscaloosa. So again, a flash flood warning until 9:15 for much of Tuscaloosa County. This tornado warning will linger for a few more minutes. Again, technically it's still 7:45, but the storm will be out of Tuscaloosa County soon. And again, this is this broad rotation where we're watching. We've heard of no damage. Taylor, I've not heard of any damage in Tuscaloosa County. And you got the tweeter and the face bag and the talk and everything else here. And I'm looking at everything, and I've seen nobody reporting any damage via those channels, the social channels or the official channels, our Skywatcher chat. And a lot of folks lived in the path of this in Tuscaloosa County. All of the damage reports have come from northern Hale County around Moundville. And when the storm passed through there about an hour ago. So again, at this point, we'll kind of watch the trends, and if they let this expire or cancel the warning, and I think they will, the John DeBlock down at the Weather Service, he's telling us now that they are going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning for Jefferson. So again, the Weather Service will not be extending this tornado warning currently for northeastern Tuscaloosa. They are going to post a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of western and northern Jefferson counties.
And you can tell the structure. I mean, even just looking at the reflectivity has completely changed with this storm. I mean, a little while back, you could kind of see a hook, and now you're looking at more of a bowing segment. So yeah, makes sense.
The whole thing just occluded, and it's choked off. And again, the Weather Service in Birmingham has talked with the Tuscaloosa Emergency Management Agency. They have not one single report of damage. And for that reason, now they've decided they're probably not going to post a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's the right thing to do. If there's no damage, if the winds are below severe limits, you don't want to, again, issue a warning when you don't need to. And again, I will say this, working the warning desk, it ain't easy. When you're working at the Weather Service, they issue the warnings. We don't, but it's hard. There's so many variables involved. You want to keep the probability of detection high, the false alarm ratio low, and it's tough. You don't want to issue warning after warning after warning after warning where nothing ever happens. That's crying wolf and nobody does anything. But at the same time, you got to be very vigilant here and watch these, because a small tornado can get down in a heartbeat, and those are hard to warn for. It's absolute whack-a-mole. You issue a warning, the tornado's gone.
Especially when we don't have great radar coverage in some parts of.
Yeah, that whole thing, we've got to talk about that situation. The lack of radar coverage in Demopolis, York, Livingston, Meridian, we've got to do some work on that. Now, I know some people that are pretty much the tallest hog in a trough at some of these agencies, and we need to work that whole thing out, because something's got to change there. It's not fair to the people that live in places like Demopolis and York and Livingston and Meridian and Butler, Alabama. They deserve good radar coverage too, like everybody else. So again, we're going to sit with this for a couple more minutes until the Weather Service cancels this warning. And again, they are not going to issue a new warning for Jefferson. a tornado or severe thunderstorm. We've heard no damage reports, and we just don't think, I think that's the right decision. You just can't issue a warning when there's no need to do that. But again, please understand, the rain is absolutely torrential. In fact, let's take can we get the Tuscaloosa Skycam? Is that working, Taylor?
Yes.
Let's go back to Tuscaloosa, and just wanted to show you that it's still pouring. And maybe we can take that downtown courthouse shot. Let's go to the downtown shot if we can from the courthouse, looking maybe back over toward the bridge. That's Birmingham. And if it's not working, then it's not working. It's probably not working, so we'll stay with that shot. That's coming from DCH. Pan it down toward University Boulevard, and let's see what that looks like over to the right just a little bit.
Oh, we get to do the X on here now.
Yeah, and the warning, yeah, you got to do the X. We're gonna scratch it. Let's go to the graphics real quick. Then it's X marks the spot. We're done. Toast. Stick a fork in it. It's done. The warning has been canceled. It's gone. So real quick, and again, we're going to go back to regular programming here. Again, we don't want to cover. Okay, and we're going to hold for a second. Stephen Quinn is apparently there's some entrapment in Moundville. And we are going to hold here for Stephen and get a live report from him before we go back to regular programming. Thank you. That's University Boulevard. And again, you can see that the rain is steady, not as heavy as it was a little earlier. It was raining so hard you couldn't see really down below the hospital there. But that's coming from the top of DCH Regional Medical Center. So again, the tornado warning has been canceled. We have officially X'd that thing out. And we have no severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. So we'll go back to the radar. And again, what we've got, it's just a huge amount of rain falling. Torrential rain falling from near Parrish and Walker County down into eastern Tuscaloosa County. About to rain heavily again in the city of Tuscaloosa. Heavy rain in Utah down toward Demopolis. And again, we're going to see a lot of folks going over 3 inches of rain over here, I think. And we've got flooding issues. We've had a flash flood watch with this. It's been a multiple hazard threat. Flooding is one of those hazards, and I'm afraid we have a lot of that. These are some rain estimates. You can see some 3-inch amounts in parts of Walker, Fayette, Tuscaloosa County, Pickens County, some really big rain amounts over here. And these are 24-hour rain totals. And all that heavy rain is about to come on into Birmingham, and later tonight after midnight, that'll be affecting Anniston and Gadsden. Some light rain is affecting these cities now, but the bigger rains will come later. Some of this really heavy rain comes into Birmingham in about 1 hour or so. And again, we're still going to watch things. Understand there's a tornado watch in effect until 11 for some counties. We'll put the watch box back up in here. Now, a number of counties have been cleared, which is great news. We'll show you the counties that are in, the counties that are out. And that's our Pick City winner. So where you see the green, the tornado watch has been canceled. That's a flash flood watch. So the tornado watch has been canceled for Cullman, Winston, Marion, Fayette, Lamar, and Pickens. Your risk of severe weather is over. You still have a flash flood watch. We still have a tornado watch until 11 for Walker, Blount, St. Clair, Jefferson, Shelby, Tuscaloosa counties, and counties to the south all the way down to Mobile. So there is still a chance of a brief tornado in this zone tonight. I would say the greater tornado probabilities are down in southwest Alabama. That's where the better instability happens to be. In fact, let's move that. Let's see if we have any active warnings down in Choctaw, Washington. Yes, we do. We have tornado warnings in effect for parts of Monroe and Clark counties. Looks like a tornado coming right up the Alabama River. Looks like the area near Thomasville and Clark County under a tornado warning here. So just be aware down in South Alabama, this is where there's instability. We really don't have any up here. It's an amazingly dynamic system, but with very poor thermodynamics. But the better thermos are down here in the southwestern part of the state. And again, you can see just this big mass of rain. So I think for the rest of the night, our biggest issue, it's going to be flooding. But again, down here, the air is still ripe and unstable, and these little cells that are popping up like this, those are the problem cells. And that's going to be mainly a southwest Alabama threat this evening, but that's the greatest concern. We note tornado warnings around New Orleans tonight. And again, they're in unstable air with those cellular discrete type storms that are in progress down there. So again, we'll go back to our regular local radar here and check it one more time. And again, guys, when you get Quinn on the line, let me know. And we're holding it here. Wow, Chief Vaughn just sent me a note, a private note. He's up to 4.30 inches in Sumter County. He says, send a boat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is and again, Chief Vaughn is down in southern Sumter County, and that's a lot of rain here.
And they're still not done yet. They still got rain moving through right now.
No, I mean, he might go over 5 inches with this thing. So he's at 4.30. Okay, we'll hold it here for just a little longer. And again, we're waiting on Stephen Quinn. who is in Moundville, and want to, let's see here, show a few quick videos here. Let's go to WEX 05 again. If you had a chance to see this, this is this same storm that came through Moundville, and across the tree line, if you look really carefully, you'll see a few spots with rapid rotation, and most likely when this video was captured, there's a small tornado there. Very hard to see, but most likely it's there producing the damage. From all the damage I've seen, it does look like a smaller EF0, EF1 type tornado that came through, but again, this was in Moundville earlier this evening, and that's the same storm that came through eastern Tuscaloosa County, prompting the tornado warning. And we've had some damage. This is some of the damage in northern Hale County. Some of this damage was down Highway 69, a little south of Greensboro. And we've heard of nobody being injured in any of these situations, mainly trees down on some structures and some structural damage as well. So again, that's what it looked like down in Hale County earlier this evening. So we'll come back, and again, we'll give it about 5 minutes. If we can't get Quinn back on, again, there was a report of some entrapment, and I don't know if... Okay, we've got the shot, so as soon as we get his audio established, we'll be going to him. Again, looking at some of the reports here from Tuscaloosa County, they got some reports of miscellaneous damage, but nothing they can attribute to the tornado warning. That's the whole point here. So again, that's a message from the Tuscaloosa Emergency Management Agency. And again, I've seen no damage coming from Tuscaloosa County from all of my sources.
So the EMA is saying that they do have some damage here and there, miscellaneous damage, but nothing that they can attribute directly to the tornado warning.
Okay.
So it might have been damage just from strong winds as across the county. But they did want to clarify that they're, at least that's what I'm saying here.
All right, and again, we're going to show some more images here coming from Hale County in just a second. In fact, let's see here. Dennis, let's go to WEX 05. And again, it's getting dark, and obviously we're having a hard time getting light here, but let's take WEX 05 real quick, and then we'll go to Quinn once we get his audio. These are some images coming in from Moundville earlier this evening, and you can see mostly what I've seen, it's large tree limbs that have been blown down, and there could be some minor structural damage in through here. Whoops. And again, all of this happened a little early this evening. So let's take Stephen's shot. Let's go to that live if we can from his live view. And again, this is from Bill Castle and Stephen Quinn. They have reports of some people trapped in a home in northern Hale County in Moundville. And I don't know if this would be related to maybe a tree that's come down on a house and they can't get out, or what the exact situation is. All of the damage that I have seen involves trees down and some minor structural damage, big limbs that are down. But if a big tree comes down on a house, then obviously a lot of times people are trapped, and they can't get out of there. Again, you can see the Moundville Fire and Rescue vehicle there in front. Again, this is Bill Castle. Bill and I, we're all weather warriors. We've been doing this together for a long time, and he's the greatest. And let me just say this, it is not easy what they're doing. It is pouring rain. It is dark, and it's miserable. And I appreciate Bill and Stephen and all of our crews in the field. All right, Stephen, you can hear us now. Tell us exactly what you've got there. Okay, Stephen Quinn, this is James Spann. If you can hear me, just jump right in. And we're establishing a communication line with Stephen. And again, out in the field, this is...
Hey, Denise.
Hey, Stephen, this is James. You're on the air if you can hear me. And I don't think he can hear me. So again, Denise, if you can get me routed to him, we'll get Stephen on the air. And again, the reason we're staying on here, we have reports of a possible entrapment in a home in Hale County near Moundville. And you can see the first responders that are at that scene. And Stephen Quinn, our news anchor, is in the field. And Stephen does a great job in the field for us. He's very good with weather, and he's worked a lot of big events over the years. And once we get his audio established, we will go to him. And again, we stress while we show you this, we have no other issues involving wind in the state. We have no warnings involving tornadoes or severe thunderstorms. The concern is flash flooding. Again, this is a flash flood warning for about the northern half of Tuscaloosa County. Pouring rain here. In fact, let's take that Tuscaloosa sky cam one more time. It should be really coming down back in Tuscaloosa. Again, the rain rates have increased again downtown. That's a live look at University Boulevard from DCH Regional Medical Center. So you might consider not driving during this flash flood warning, giving a chance for the water to come down. Parts of Tuscaloosa County have picked up 3 inches of rain this evening, and flooding is a great concern. All right, now let's see if we can go to Stephen Quinn, James Spann. If you can hear me, tell us what you got there in Moundville.
Hey, James, if you can hear me, we're having to use a little technical here, calling you on the phone line. Where I'm standing right now is one of 3 different places here, James, where we've seen people that were pinned in their house because of those storms that moved through. The great news, however, is that in all 3 of these cases, everyone's been okay. We're told the gentleman who was in this house was pinned inside because of a tree that had fallen in the back. You can't see it from our vantage point. He is okay. We do know that there are interspersed areas of damage along Highway 69 here in Moundville. I just spoke to Russell Whedon with the County Emergency Management Agency. He tells us that there's some roof damage in some areas as well. As I mentioned, spotty, which leads to suggest that this may have cycled and hit different locations. We just arrived here on the scene. But again, the good news right now, 3 different cases. We had people pinned in their houses. Everyone is okay so far. Obviously, we'll hope that continues throughout the night. But so far, they are going through responding to all those reports that we've seen so far, and it's all been positive. James.
Okay, that's great news, Stephen. Thank you for that. And again, that's good news. We've had no injuries with that entrapment. These were trees that came down on homes. So we're going to go back to regular programming at 7:41. We'll come back at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, sooner if need be. Again, torrents of rain continue. The tornado threat is low, not zero, for the rest of the night. The main concern is flooding and torrential rain. A flash flood warning for parts of north and central Tuscaloosa County, parts of Sumter County and West Alabama. Heavy rain approaching Birmingham. We'll see you at 8. I'm James Spann with Taylor Serralo live in the ABC. Whoa, before we go, another polygon just popped up. We have new flash flood warnings in effect. Had to show these. This is in effect now for the rest of Tuscaloosa County. So basically all of Tuscaloosa County now in a flash flood warning, parts of Greene County, parts of Marengo, and parts of Sumter. So just wanted to show that new flash flood warning in effect, and these will likely be extended eastward later tonight as this torrential rain continues. We'll see you at 8. I'm James Spann with Taylor Serralo live in the ABC 3340 Weather Center.